ce qu'il soit chaud et légèrement trouble. Ajoutez les saucisses dans le plat chaud et versez la pâte. Remettez immédiatement le plat au four et laissez cuire 35 à 40 minutes jusqu'à ce qu'il soit bien gonflé et doré. Servez-le assaisonné de poivre noir et d'une généreuse noix de beurre. Oui, fini. Okay, let's get to the book. Oh my god. Would you say if there was an award ceremony, I would be counted as the worst streamer of all time? Do you think that would happen? There you go. We were at chapter 5. I'm gonna have to make another edit of this stream where I actually, because I've been having to cut out so much conversation to upload to my YouTube channel, and usually only 2 hours is left of me actually like reading. It's actually so bad. Generally, I talk so much. I don't get anything done. It's so bad. No, I might have the craziest New Year's plan of all time, but it might be anticipated. It's still a work in progress. Ooh, what's the plan? Tell me all about it. Okay, here we are. Telling me all about it. I had the whole family come over for Thanksgiving yesterday, and it was a fun time. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, what did you eat? Tell me all about it. I love hearing about food. I'm learning for my bike license test. How is that going? I hope it's not too stressful. I remember learning for my driver's license, like theory test. That was a lot of work. But the most stressful thing was the practical stuff for me because I fucking hate driving. It's terrifying to me. I cannot do it. I'm not made for the road. I'm too soft. I cannot do it, my people. I cannot. But I also don't want to like be unable to drive for the rest of my life. So it's quite a dilemma. Now let's sip our coffee and let's get on this train of reading. Thank you for enduring my grocery shopping. I'm glad I got it over with because otherwise I won't have food and that's bad. Oh, also, short mention. I watched this short today of Guillermo del Toro, and he talked about the book that we read, like Something Wicked This Way Comes. Like, the interviewer brought the book up, and Guillermo actually said, like, oh, yeah, I fucking love this book, basically, you know? Like, it's really, really good, and I wish I could adapt it, but I'm not allowed or something. He said something about an NDA, but I was like, that's so crazy! He's literally talking about it, and we just finished that book! It was a good book. It was, but I thought that was really cool, because I like him. He's a cool director. And I'm doing good, Shrimp. I'm doing good. How are you? Are you still burning things? I don't know why I said that, but I saw your emote. Yes, let's start reading. If no one has any objections, here we go. It was on a dreary night of November that I beheld the accomplishment of my toils. With an anxiety that almost amounted to agony, I collected the instruments of life around me, that I might infuse a spark of being into the lifeless thing that lay at my feet. It was already 1 in the morning. The rain pattered dismally against the panes, and my candle was nearly burnt out when, by the glimmer of the half-extinguished light, I saw the dull, yellow eye of the creature open. I breathed hard, and a convulsive motion agitated its limbs. So, we had roasted turkey, mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, sweet potato, stuffing, cheddar bay biscuits. Ooh, you'll have to explain what that is. I don't actually know. broccoli casserole and some corn dish and a few different desserts. Ooh, desserts! I love desserts. So yesterday I was hanging out with my friends and we basically had this crazy idea. I really hope this goes through, not gonna lie. So basically for either New Year or my friend's birthday, which is late December, we might go to either Monte Carlo or to Lugano. Never heard of that one. And go to the casino and like have a crazy night. Oh, don't be too crazy though. Don't do silly things. But that sounds really fun though. Do it. Do it. No more saying. Doing. Yes. I'm going to quit smoking as a New Year's resolution. Do you all have a resolution? Well, I've actually been I did this last year as well. Like I asked everyone their New Year's resolutions and I hung them on the top. So I'm going to do that again. Um, yeah, I don't really know what my New Year's resolution is yet. I don't even remember what it was last year. It's always so hard to like um to narrow it down because so many things I want to do. But I think last year I wanted to like get up to 1,000 followers. Sadly, we didn't get to that, but we still have a month left, so who knows what might happen. 150, perhaps. I'm hoping with the really long streams I'll be able to get a lot of followers in and hopefully get to at least 900. But yeah, for real, it's gonna be wild if we go, yeah, but still, be wise. Don't do too silly things. Let's continue. But I think that's a really, really good resolution, Haro. I'm proud. You can do this. I mean, obviously you've not done it yet, but I believe in you. Yes. How can I describe my emotions at this catastrophe, or how delineate the wretch whom with such infinite pains and care I had endeavoured to form? His limbs were in proportion, and I had selected his features as beautiful. Beautiful, great God! His yellow skill scarcely covered the work of muscles and arteries beneath. His hair was of a lustrous black and flowing, his teeth of a pearly whiteness, but these luxuriances only formed a more horrid contrast with his watery eyes that seemed almost of the same color as the dun white sockets in which they were set. His shriveled complexion and straight black lips. Oh my god, terrifying. I hope you get the opportunity. It sounds like a memorable night. Yeah, definitely. I was thinking about taking like $200 for an all-nighter at the casino. By the way, the Elder Scroll lore is gonna feed families. It's going to feed families? What do you mean? Yeah, I hope you're excited. I'm not nearly done at all with my presentation, but the whole goal was that I was going to do it before the end of the year. And I think putting a deadline for myself is really going to push me to like work on it more. So hopefully I'll be able to finish it. My last year one was to exercise more and win from being unable to do a push-up to standing on my hands. I think I can if I set my mind. That's so good. That's so good. Good on you. Hell yeah. I'm very excited for the coming months. Such a banger schedule. Oh, you think? Thank you. Oh, I do have to mention, I moved one of the long streams from the 13th to another weekend because I forgot I have to work on the 13th. I just made that schedule thinking like, yeah, yes. And then I was like, today I was like, fuck, I have to work. But don't worry, I'm still doing it. It's just on another weekend day, yes. Yes. But yeah, I'm very excited as well. We've got a movie night coming up. We've got the Skyrim we've got the Skyrim lore presentation. Well, Elder Scroll lore presentation. We've got the community event. We've got the we got the community event. We got the really long stream. We got 2 really long streams. What movie? I don't know what movie yet. I was gonna ask you guys today actually, please put movie suggestions in the server, and then I will put it into a poll. For now, I'm thinking How to Train Your Dragon because Wise Man hasn't seen it yet. So, and I really like that movie, so I'd love to see it. But yeah, I'd like to do a cozy one. Guys, slasher, let's watch. No, I want to watch something cozy. It's supposed to be like a Christmas thing, you know? Like it's supposed to be a cozy stream, family stream. I mean, sorry, family cozy movie. So let's do that. No slasher, no scary. Yes. Halloween is over, guys. Yes. The different accidents of life are not so changeable as the feelings of human nature. I had worked for nearly 2 years for the sole purpose of infusing life into an inanimate body. For this I had deprived myself of sleep and health. I had desired it with an ardor that far exceeded moderation. But now that I had finished, the beauty of the dream vanished, and breathless horror and disgust filled my heart. Unable to endure the aspect of the being I had created, I rushed out of the room and continued a long time traversing my bedchamber, unable to compose my mind to sleep. At length, lassitude succeeded to the tumult I had before endured, and I threw myself on the bed in my clothes, endeavoring to seek a few moments of forgetfulness, but it was in vain. I slept indeed, but I was disturbed by the wildest dreams. I thought I saw Elizabeth, in the bloom of health, walking in the streets of Ingolstadt. Delighted and surprised, I embraced her, but as I imprinted the first kiss on her lips... Hold on. She's his sister, right? Right? Did we all say that right? Elizabeth is his sister, right? Hold on, he's kissing her. Oh, I knew this. Oh, I knew this was coming, for fuck's sake, please. Why is everyone kissing their fucking sister? Stop. So Die Hard. What do you mean Die Hard? Have a nice lyric. Oh, let's watch a Christmas themed horror. What, like what? No way, insistent on no irony stream. We're cursed. Okay, I'm gonna look it up real. I swear I just need to, like, for the sake of mine, you know? Is Elizabeth Victor's sister? Yes, Elizabeth is Victor Frankenstein's adopted sister. Oh, and wife? Ew! Spoiler. Hold on. Okay. Now, okay, it's not straight up incest, but like adopted is still weird, okay? Hold on, still weird. Oh, wait, she was like the orphan child that they saw and they were like, sheesh. You know, and then they adopted her. Okay, it's still weird. I feel like even if you're not blood related, the fact that you call each other sister and brother and you have that relationship makes it weird. You cannot date any type of sister, okay? Not stepsister, not adopted sister, not half sister. No way. Okay, that is not okay. What are you doing, stepsister? No, that's not happening. Hi Zento, how are you? First time this ever happened. Yeah, exactly. Nightmare Before Christmas? I love Nightmare Before Christmas. What a banger. We can watch multiple movies, I guess, but I don't know how relationships change. No, but it's not technically your... No, don't do that, Edo. No. No, you cannot do that. Any sister is not relationship, okay? No. Weird, guys. That's weird. Anyway, like I feel like it's just weird watching a movie and like it's like it's just the idea that they're your sibling. You know, you obviously still see them as your sibling. Like, I have a stepsister. I see her as my sibling. I wouldn't date her. That's so weird as fuck. That's weird. It's weird. Blood doesn't matter. Blood doesn't matter. It's just the fact that, yeah, it's weird. It's weird. How are you, Noah? I'm sleep deprived. I'm tired. I've had a day, guys. I've had a day. But we're doing some pretty good, you know, it's the weekend. I made a huge schedule. If you haven't seen it, I planned basically the rest of December until I'm back from Christmas celebrations. So very exciting. I should be able to stream before the year ends. But yeah, I just wanted to be sure to stream loads for you guys. So I'm very excited to do all these things. Hey, I didn't commit for any weirdness today. I'm adopted. It is weird. There we go. Thank you, Adam. Thank you. That's weird as fuck. Now that we're agreed. Oh my, busy bee. Yes, yes. Busy bee indeed. I just wanted to get it out the way because I wanted to make sure that I had loads of things planned for Christmas because I feel like that's the most exciting time of the year, and I wanted to, like, you know, celebrate with you guys by streaming loads, and I just wanted to get some stuff done. So I think planning ahead so I don't do anything else on those days was the right play. Just wait, it gets worse, really? You're scaring me. Okay, anyway, let's continue. No, it doesn't depend. It doesn't depend at all. No depending. Delighted and surprised, I embraced her, but as I imprinted the first kiss on her lips, they became livid with the hue of death. Her features appeared to change, and I thought that I held the corpse of my dead mother in my arms. A shroud enveloped her form, and I saw the grave worms crawling in the folds of the flannel. I started from my sleep with horror. A cold dew covered my forehead, my teeth shattered, and every limb became convulsed when, by the dim and yellow light of the moon, as it forced its way through the window shutters, I beheld the wretch, the miserable monster whom I had created. He held up the curtain of the bed. Oh, that's terrifying. And his eyes, if eyes they may be called, were fixed on me. His jaws opened, and he muttered some inarticulate sounds, while a grin wrinkled his cheeks. Oh my god. He might have spoken, but I did not hear. One hand was stretched out, seemingly to detain me, but I escaped and rushed downstairs. I took refuge in the courtyard belonging to the house which I inhabited, where I remained during the rest of the night, walking up and down in the greatest agitation, listening attentively, catching and fearing each sound as if it were to announce the approach of the demoniacal corpse to which I had so miserably given life. What did you think was gonna happen? Mary is freaky. Wait, Mary? Who Mary? What? Oh! Oh! No mortal could support the horror of that countenance. A mummy again, endued with animation, could not be so hideous as that wretch. I had gazed on him while unfinished. He was ugly then, but when those muscles and joints were rendered capable of motion, it became a thing such as even Dante could not have conceived. Dante? Of like... Dante? For Inferno? Yes? Yes? I passed the night wretchedly. Sometimes my pulse beat so quickly and hardly that I felt the palpitation of every artery. At others, I nearly sank to the ground through languor and extreme weakness. Mingled with it this horror, I felt the bitterness of disappointment. Mary Shelley, the author. Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying as if it was a character. I don't know why I didn't think of that, the author. I know that that's the author, by the way. It's just, I didn't think about it. But yeah, she's freaky. No, but I think, now, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like this kind of stuff is normal for the time. Because we read Carmilla and the same thing happened. Like, they just kind of like this dynamic of like almost sibling. Like, don't know why. It's just weird. It's just not a vibe I'm vibing with. The good old times. No, no. Let's not get back to that. I nearly sank to the ground through languor and extreme weakness. Mingled with this horror, I felt a bitterness of disappointment. Dreams that had been my food and pleasant rest for so long a space were now becoming a hell to me, and the change was so rapid, the overthrow so complete. Morning, dismal and wet, at length dawned and discovered to my sleepless and aching eyes the church of Ingolstadt, its white steeple and clock, which indicated the 6th hour. The porter opened the gates of the court, which had that night been my asylum, and I issued into the streets, pacing them with quick steps, as if I sought to avoid the wretch whom I feared. Every turning of the street would present to my view. I did not dare return to the apartment which I inhabited, but felt impelled to hurry on, although drenched by the rain which poured from a black and comfortless sky. I continued walking in this manner for some time, endeavoring by bodily exercise to ease the load that weighed upon my mind. I traversed the streets without any clear conception of where I was or what I was doing. My heart palpitated in the sickness of fear, and I hurried on with irregular steps, not daring to look about me. Like one who, on a lonely road, doth walk in fear and dread, and having once turned round, walks on and turns no more his head, because he knows a frightful fiend doth close behind him thread. Oh, a bit of poetry sprinkled in there, very nice. Continuing thus, I came at length opposite to the inn at which the various diligences and carriages usually stopped. Here I paused. I knew not why, but I remained some minutes with my eyes fixed on a coach that was coming towards me from the other end of the street. As it drew nearer, I observed that it was the Swiss diligence. It stopped just where I was standing, and on the door being opened, I perceived Henry Clerval, who on seeing me instantly sprung out. "My dear Frankenstein!" exclaimed he. "How glad I am to see you! How fortunate that you should be here at the very moment of my alighting. Nothing could equal my delight on seeing Clerval. His presence brought back to my thoughts my father, Elizabeth, and all those scenes of home so dear to my recollection. I grasped his hand, and in a moment forgot my horror and misfortune. I felt suddenly, and for the first time during many months, calm and serene joy. I welcomed my friend, therefore, in the most cordial manner, and we walked towards my college. Clerval continued talking for some time about our mutual friends and his own good fortune in being permitted to come to Ingolstadt. "You may easily believe," said he, "how great was the difficulty to persuade my father that all necessary knowledge was not comprised in the noble art of bookkeeping. And indeed I believed I left him incredulous to the last, for his constant answer to my unwearied entreaties was the same as that of the Dutch schoolmaster in Vicar of Wakefield. I have 10,000 florins a year without Greek. I eat heartily without Greek. I don't know what that means. But his affection for me at length overcame his dislike of learning, and he has permitted me to undertake a voyage of discovery to the land of knowledge. It gives me the greatest delight to see you, but tell me how you left my father, brothers, and Elizabeth." Very well and very happy, only a little uneasy that they hear from you so seldom. By the by, I mean to lecture you a little upon their account myself. But, my dear Frankenstein, continued he, stopping short and gazing full in my face, I did not before remark how very ill you appear, so thin and pale. You look as if you had been watching for several nights. You have guessed right. I have lately been so deeply engaged in one occupation that I have not allowed myself sufficient rest, as you see. But I sincerely hope, that all these employments are now at an end, and that I am at length free. I trembled excessively. I could not endure to think of, and far less to allude to, the occurrences of the preceding night. I walked with a quick pace, and we soon arrived at my college. I then reflected, and the thought made me shiver, that the creature whom I had left in my apartment might still be there, alive and walking about. Well, obviously, it's not gonna drop dead, is it? Okay. I dreaded to behold this monster, but I feared still more that Henry should see him. Entreating him, therefore, to remain a few minutes at the bottom of the stairs, I darted up towards my own room. My hand was already on the lock of the door before I recollected myself. I then paused, and a cold shivering came over me. I threw the door forcibly open, as children are accustomed to do when they expect a spectre to stand in waiting for them on the other side. But nothing appeared. I stepped fearfully in. The apartment was empty, and my bedroom was also freed from its hideous guests. I could hardly believe that so great a good fortune could have befallen me, but when I became assured that my enemy had indeed fled, I clapped my hands for joy and ran down to Clerval. We ascended him to my room, and the servant presently brought breakfast, but I was unable to contain myself. It was not joy only that possessed me. I felt my flesh tingle with excess of sensitiveness, and my pulse beat rapidly. I was unable to remain for a single instant in the same place. I jumped over the chairs, clapped my hands, and laughed aloud. Clerval at first attributed my unusual spirits to joy on his arrival, but when he observed me more attentively, he saw a wilderness in my eyes for which he could not account, and my loud, unrestrained, heartless laughter frightened and astonished him. "My dear Victor," cried he, "what for God's sake is the matter? Do not laugh in that matter. How ill are you? What is the cause of all this?" "Do not ask me," cried I, putting my hands before my eyes, for I thought I saw the dreaded spectre glide into the room. "He can tell. Oh, save me, save me!" I imagined that the monster seized me. I struggled furiously and fell down in a fit. Poor Clerval, what must he have been his feelings? A meeting which he had anticipated with such joy, so strangely turned to bitterness. But I was not the witness of his grief, for I was lifeless and did not recover my senses for a long, long time. This was the commencement of a nervous fever which confined me for several months. During all that time, Henry was my only nurse. I afterwards learned that, knowing my father's advanced age and unfitness for so long a journey, and how wretched my sickness would make Elizabeth, he spared them this grief by concealing the extent of my disorder. He knew that I could not have a more kind and attentive nurse than himself, and firm in the hope he felt of my recovery, he did not doubt that instead of doing harm, he performed the kindest action that he could towards them. But I was in reality very ill, and surely nothing but the unbounded and unremitting attentions of my friend could have recovered me to life. The form of the monster on whom I had bestowed existence was forever before my eyes, and I raved incessantly concerning him. Doubtless my words surprised Henry. He had first believed them to be the wandering of my disturbed imagination. but the pertinency with which I continually recurred to the same subject persuaded him that my disorder indeed owed its origin to some uncommon and terrible event. By very slow degrees, and with frequent relapses that alarmed and grieved my friend, I recovered. I remember the first time I became capable of observing outward objects with any kind of pleasure. I perceived that the fallen leaves had disappeared, and that the young buds were shooting forth from the tree. That was a weird sound of my cheek, though. From the trees that shaded my window. It was a divine spring, and the season contributed greatly to my convalescence? Convalescence? I don't know what that means. Gradual return to health. Oh, I see. Convalescence. So, how are you today? Hello, hi. How you feeling? You feeling any better? I'm getting well sleepy. I also need a blanket. It is so bloody cold. The weather doesn't know what to do. Like, it was warm yesterday. Well, not warm, but warmer. And then today it's bloody freezing again. It's like, what the hell? How were your last days? Now when you say that, I always think like it sounds like I'm dying. My days have been okay. I've just been a bit tired today. I don't know, it just kind of hit me like a truck. Like, I felt fine this morning. And then kind of by the end of the day, I was just kind of out of it. Like, I was not paying attention. There was this one student that came over with a voucher, right? Which means like he gets the meal for free. And I took the voucher, and then he asked me a bunch of questions, and then I got confused, and and then I gave him all the stuff, and then he walked away, and I was like, hey, wait, you haven't paid. And like, he looked at me, and then my colleague was like, he gave you the voucher. I'm like, oh yeah. Like, I was just not processing anything. I was just, out of it. But it was fine. It was fine. I'm fine. Just a bit, yeah. Just zoning out a bit, Yeah. I think I was also just kind of in my head. Like, I want to go home. I need to do this when I get home. Do you have that? Like, do you have like a list of things you need to do when you get home? I have that. I knew I had to like, fold up the washing, do the dishes, make food, start streaming. I do my like, I wanted to do my proper like shower routine where I like exfoliate, do my hair, because I hope you don't think this is gross, but I only wash my hair like once a week. And a lot of people might think that means that I have greasy hair, which is really not the case. If you wash your hair less, it also needs it less. Because the thing that makes it so greasy is that you wash it more often, right? So it's used to that. Ever since I started doing that, first of all, you save on a lot of shampoo. You save on a lot of time. And overall, I feel like my hair feels much better. I don't know, it just feels nicer. When Noah is serving you, you pay twice! Yes, first for the food and second for my personality. I feel really bad though. Like a lot of colleagues said today, like, are you okay? Like something seems up with you. And I was like, I don't know. Is something up with me? I don't know. I'm just tired, man. I'm so confused. Like everyone said that to me. I'm like, I don't understand. This nothing is going on. What do you mean? It was a whole experience, guys. Remember to take care of yourself. Don't worry, I am taking care of myself. I always eat enough. I always sleep enough. I feel like I take pretty good care. I feel like I'm a pretty good care of myself. You know, 3 meals a day, all of them healthy. You know, I have lots of books to read and I read them. At the moment I'm reading this what is it called? The Snow Child. It's a pretty okay book so far. I remember like seeing it on Instagram before and I was like, whatever. Because there's this bookshop where I live that has a lot of like really good deals. I bought like 4 books for £12. I was like, nice, very good. One of them was from a Studio Ghibli movie. I bought one book about Alexandria, and then the Snow Child, and then one more thing that I don't remember. Keep forgetting. And when you need time for yourself or need to take time off stream, when you need a time off, you can be good sometimes. That's true. I have done that before. 4 books for 12 is really, I know, it's really, really good. I was like, nice, what a deal. So, needless to say, I spent that money right away. But yeah, it's, ooh, Iron is playing VR chat. That's rare. What is he doing there? That is very rare. But yeah, don't worry. When I feel like I need the time off from streaming, I do it. But I also really like being consistent. I I don't like taking time off from streaming because it just feels bad. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I feel really productive when I stream loads. I feel like streaming is like a way to still do fun things but make you feel productive at the same time. And I saw a video about it recently where we have this need of being productive all the time. But I don't think that's necessarily always a bad thing. It just makes me feel nice. I don't know. I like having this productive little streaming space, yes. We won't be mad if you take time off. I know, and I really appreciate that. I mean, when I got sick like a few weeks ago, you guys were so nice about it and everything. To be fair, I was dying. I was like on my deathbed for a day or 2 or 3. So I really appreciated you guys not being bothered and everything. But don't worry. Generally, if I'm not okay, I will take the time off. Don't worry. But yeah, let's continue reading. But yeah, how are you? How are you though, Ojo? How are you? What have you been up to today? I hope you've not been sleeping 18 hours like last time again. I also always say don't worry and you worry. Also, I will worry. You can't help but worry, can you? Worry is kind of natural. It's just over worrying that's bad. But as long as you're normal worrying, I think that's okay. But yeah, I hope you've been taking care of yourself and doing something fun for yourself today. Yeah. Let's continue. By very slow degrees, and with frequent relapses that alarmed and grieved my friend, I recovered. I remember the first time I became capable of observing outward objects with any kind of pleasure. I perceived that the fallen leaves had disappeared, and the young buds were shooting forth from the trees that shaded my window. It was a divine spring, and the season contributed greatly to my convalescence. I felt also sentiments of joy and affections revive in my bosom. My boobies, what? My gloom disappeared, and in a short time I became as cheerful as before I was attacked by the fatal passion. Worrying is good if you don't worry too much, because it can seem overprotective. That's true. I suppose it's like everything, right? You need a right balance of it. You got any plans for the weekend, Dojo? Dearest Clerval, exclaimed I, how kind, how very good you are to me. This whole winter, instead of being spent in study, as you promised yourself, has been consumed in my sick room. How shall I repay you? I feel the greatest remorse for the disappointment of which I have been the occasion, but you will forgive me. You will repay me entirely if you do not discompose yourself, but get well as fast as you can, and since you appear in such good spirits, I may speak to you on one subject, may I not? I trembled. One subject? What could it be? Could he allude to an object on whom I dared not even think? Compose yourself, said Clerval, who observed my change of color. I will not mention it if it agitates you, but your father and cousin would be very happy if they received a letter from you in your own handwriting. They hardly know how ill you have been, and are uneasy at your long silence. Is that all, my dear Henry? How could you suppose that my first thought would not fly towards those dear, dear friends whom I love, and who are so deserving of my love? If this is your present temper, my friend, you will perhaps be glad to see a letter that has been lying here some days for you. It is from your cousin, I believe. Speaking about the weekend, there's something, but I don't know if I can be able to do that. Why? What is happening in the weekend? Wait, cousin. So Elizabeth is his cousin. I thought she was the adopted sister. I'm so confused. Either way, it doesn't matter. Chapter 6, let's go! Clerval then put the following letter in my hands. It was from my own Elizabeth. My dearest cousin, you have been ill, very ill, and even the constant letters of my dear kind Henry are not sufficient to reassure me on your account. You are forbidden to write, to hold a pen, yet one word from you, dear Victor, is necessary to calm our apprehensions. For a long time I have thought that each post would bring this line, and my persuasions have restrained my uncle from undertaking a journey to Ingolstadt. I have prevented this encountering the inconveniences and perhaps dangers of so long a journey, yet how often have I regretted not being able to perform it myself. I figured to myself that the task of attending on your sick bed has devolved on some mercenary old nurse, who could never guess your wishes, nor minister to them with the care and affection of your poor cousin. Yet that is over now. Clerval writes that indeed you are getting better. I eagerly hope that you will confirm this intelligence soon in your own handwriting. Get well and return to us. You will find a happy, cheerful home, and friends who love you dearly. Your father's health is vigorous, and he asks but to see you, but to be assured that you are well, and not a care will ever cloud his benevolent countenance. How pleased you would be to remark the improvement of our Ernest. He is now 16 and full of activity and spirit. He is desirous to be a true Swiss and to enter into foreign service, but we cannot part with him, at least until his elder brother returns to us. My uncle is not pleased with the idea of a military career in a distant country, but Ernest never had your powers of application. He looks upon study as an odious fetter. His time is spent in the open air, climbing the hills or rowing on the lake. I fear that he will become an idler unless we yield the point and permit him to enter on the profession which he has selected. Well, Monday I have to go to work again, and you know how I am the last days. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, it's good that you've had a lot of rest at least and a lot of relaxation. So when you go to work, you'll at least be a bit rested. But I know there's like no way to ever be completely rested, is there? Like I feel like even with long weekends, I'm always still not energized enough to go to work. But are we ever energized enough to go to work? You know what I mean? But it's fine, don't worry. I'm holding off the stream. Just continue reading. Don't worry. For an hour, during the stream I did grocery shopping. So I'm not gonna judge you or be mad for talking to me, okay? Um, I'm the one that should be ashamed. I should have done my grocery shopping yesterday. We just didn't get it done. It just never gets done. We just need to schedule it properly so me and Coopsy do it together. I just have such a hard time thinking of like dinner plans sometimes. Like sometimes I'll have a desire to eat something, right? Like, oh, I'll feel like lasagna. I want to have lasagna and then I'll have it. But some days I just can't think of anything. What did you get at the grocery store? Well, I did online grocery shopping. That's why I did it during stream. Because, so the big grocery shop isn't actually very close to us. We usually Uber it because Koopsie doesn't like buses. Um, and it is just much cheaper to do it like online delivery, but it's a real big pain because they do like slots, so you have to pre-book a slot. So once all those slots are fully booked, you can't do it for the day that you want. So I wanted it to be delivered tomorrow, but all the slots were already booked, so I had to do it for Sunday, like 9 p.m., which is a pain in my ass. But I got just the usual for the week. I got groceries for 5 days worth of dinner. I got my usual breakfast stuff. I got snacky stuff, toilet paper, and also stuff for soups. So I've been doing it for a few weeks now where I pre-make like a huge batch soup and then I freeze it and then I defreeze it like every time for lunch. Honestly, it's been real nice. It's actually been really nice to have it every day. Like I don't really get tired of it, even though I eat like the same soup for like 5 days straight. It's just really nice. So yeah, that's what I bought. Got loads of apples, loads of bananas, ginger, lemons, yogurt, loads of things, yeah. But yeah, that took me an hour because I kind of had to think about which dinner I was gonna do. I couldn't really think of what to cook. Because I always try to keep it exciting for us, not eat the same thing all the time. So we're having lasagna on Monday. Tuesday we're having fish in the oven with like cherry tomatoes and kale and cream and like a crunchy top. Then we're having steak and chips on Wednesday. Thursday we're having Italian wedding soup, which is basically a broth with meatballs in it and kale and carrots. And yeah, it's kind of just this like brothy soup kind of thing. It's really, really nice. And then Friday, we're having toad in the hole, which is basically a pastry with sausages in it. But I don't really know what you eat with it, so I'm still a bit like conflicted what I'm actually gonna do. I'll make the toad in the hole, and then I'll just improvise veggies or something. I don't know. Have you done your weekly grocery shopping, Zento? Okay, may I hear, how do you make your lasagna? So, I recently found out that the sauce that you use in lasagna is called ragu, and it's actually not bolognese sauce, and I'm really confused. So I'd like to try that, but I don't actually know what's in ragu, so I'm gonna have to see. But the way that I make my lasagna is kind of just dependent on what veggies I have. But usually what I do is I make a bolognese sauce. So it's just mince, onion, garlic, and then, any type of veggies. Usually it's like carrot and courgette. I feel like goes really well with lasagna. I know that not like originally you don't have veggies in it, but I cannot have meals without veggies because that's blasphemy. It's wrong. You can't do that. And then I add like a bolognese sauce and some tomato paste to make it a bit thicker. And then I layer it, and then on top I put bechamel sauce, which I make myself. I always make bechamel sauce myself. I think, personally, buying bechamel in a pot is disgusting. Any bechamel sauce I've tried here is just not bechamel sauce. It tastes disgusting. So I'm a fan of making it myself. It's also really not hard. It's just butter, flour, milk, and an egg. So like everyone can do that. I almost do my groceries monthly. I did the first part today, and tomorrow I hope to do the rest. I still have like 2 to 3 grocery stores to visit. You do it monthly? How do you do that? How do you do that? That's crazy. Surely produce can't be fresh for that long. Like, what about fresh stuff? Like, surely milk goes bad, veggies go bad, fruits go bad. Like, how do you do that? I've got so much fresh stuff. We do it weekly because that's just like, I don't know, more. I never really thought about it. I mean, I suppose you could freeze things, but. Interesting. That sounds so cool though, that you'd only have to do it monthly. But I can't live without my apples, so I don't think I could do that. Yes, let's continue. Little alteration, except the growth of our dear children, has taken place since you left us. The blue lake and snow-clad mountains, they never change, and I think our placid home and our contented hearts are regulated by the same immutable laws. My trifling occupations take up my time and amuse me, but I am rewarded for any exertion by seeing none but happy, kind faces around me. Since you left us, but one change has taken place in our little household. Do you remember on what occasion Justine Moritz entered our family? Probably you do not. I will relate her history, therefore in a few words. Madame Moritz, her mother, was a widow with 4 children, of whom Justine was the third. This girl had always been the favorite of her father, but through a strange perversity, her mother could not endure her, and after the death of Mr. Moritz, treated her very ill. My aunt observed this, and when Justine was 12 years of age, prevailed on her mother to allow her to live at our house. The republican institutions of our country have produced simpler and happier manners than those which prevail in the great monarchies that surround it. Hence there is less distinction between the several classes of its inhabitants, and the lower orders, being neither so poor nor so despised, their manners are more refined and moral. A servant in Geneva does not mean the same thing as a servant in France and England. Justine, thus received in our family, learned the duties of a servant, a condition which in our fortunate country does not include the idea of ignorance and a sacrifice of dignity of a human being. Hi, Tom. How are you today? Welcome, welcome. Justine, you may remember, was a great favorite of yours, and I recollect you once remarked that if you were in an ill humor, one glance from Justine could dissipate it, for the same reason that Ariosto gives concerning the beauty of Angelica. She looked so frank-hearted and happy. My aunt conceived a great attachment for her, by which she was induced to give her an education superior to that which she had at first intended. This benefit was fully repaid. Justine was the most graceful little creature in the world. I do not mean that she made any professions. I never heard one pass her lips, but you could see by her eyes that she almost adored her protectress. Although her disposition was gay and in many respects inconsiderate, yet she paid the greatest attention to every gesture of my aunt. She thought her the model of all excellence, and endeavored to imitate her phraseology and manners, so that even now she often reminds me of her. When my dearest aunt died, everyone was so too much occupied in their own grief to notice poor Justine, who attended her during her illness with the most anxious affection. Poor Justine was very ill, but other trials were reserved for her. I freeze it. You can blanch your veggies so they can stay fresh for longer. What is blanching again? Is that putting it in boiling water? I wanna gamble. Gambling is bad. Sorry, just being straight up. It is bad, Ojo. Bad. No gambling. No gambling is bad. One by one, her brothers and sister died, and her mother, with the exception of her neglected daughter, was left childless. The conscience of that woman was troubled. She began to think that the deaths of her favorite was a judgment from heaven to chastise her partially. She was a Roman Catholic, and I believe her confessor confirmed the idea which she had conceived. Accordingly, a few months after your departure for Ingolstadt, Justine was called home by her repentant mother. Poor girl, she wept when she quitted our house. She was much altered since the death of my aunt. Grief had given softness and a winning mildness to her manners, which had before been remarkable for vivacity. Nor was her residence at her mother's house of a nature to restore her gaiety. The poor woman was very vacillating in her repentance. Repentance. Yes, to repent. Repentance. Yes. She sometimes begged Justine to forgive her unkindness, but much oftener accused her of having caused the deaths of her brothers and sister. Oh my god. Perpetual fretting at length threw Madame Moritz into a decline, which at first increased her irritability. But she is now at peace forever. She died on the first approach of cold weather, at the beginning of the last winter. Justine has just returned to us, and I assure you, I love her tenderly. She is very clever and gentle, and extremely pretty. As I mentioned before, her mien and her expression continually remind me of my dear aunt. To be fair, I was gambling addicted once. It is bad, so I should. No, you shouldn't. Oh my god, I'm so glad you got rid of it. Yep, you should try to distract yourself by doing something else. Do knitting instead of gambling. Also, hello. Hi, Soy! How are you today? Hello! Yes, you boil them in slightly salted water, and after that, put them in cold water before you dry them with the towel and put them in in the freezer. Interesting. What about fruits? What about fruits? Do you not have those? Only boil for like a couple of minutes. I can't say I've ever done that before. I feel like there's certain veggies you can't really freeze, like courgette. I've tried to put a courgette in the freezer before, and it kind of just went very funny. I must say also a few words to you, my dear cousin, of little darling William. I wish you could see him. He is very tall of his age, with sweet laughing blue eyes. He has dark eyelashes and curling hair. When he smiles, two little dimples appear on each cheek, which are rosy with health. He has already had one or two little wives, but Louisa Biron is his favorite, a pretty little girl of 5 years of age. Now, dear Victor, I dare say you wish to be indulged in a little gossip concerning the good people of Geneva. The pretty Miss Mansfield has already received the congratulatory visits on her approaching marriage with a young Englishman, John Melbourne-esque. Her ugly sister Manon married Mr. Duvallard, the rich banker, last autumn. Your favorite schoolfellow, Louis Manoir, has suffered several misfortunes since the departure of Clerval from Geneva. But he has already recovered his spirits and is reported to be on the point of marrying a lively, pretty Frenchwoman, Madame d'Avennier. She is a widow and much older than Manoir, but she is very much admired and a favorite with everybody. I have written myself in better spirits, dear cousin, but my anxiety returns upon me as I conclude. Write, dear Victor, one line, one word will be a blessing to us. 10,000 thanks to Henry for his kindness, his affection, and his many letters. We are sincerely grateful. Adieu, my cousin. Take care of yourself, and I entreat you, write. Goodness. Depends on the fruit. Okay, what fruit would you freeze then? I go eep again, probably. I don't know what to do. My kind is starting to think about bad. Oh no. Like I keep reminding you, talk to a professional. But for now, maybe watch a movie, listen to some music that that might make you feel better. You can freeze almost everything. I use an app that tells me which fruits and veggies I can stay in the freezer the longest. Ooh, what is it called? Well, I feel like you can freeze everything. It's just that some things go funny when you freeze them. Like, I feel like broccoli freezes fine, carrots freeze fine. It's just when it comes to courgette and cucumber, like stuff that has a lot of water content in it, it goes really funny when you take it out. Like, it goes really weird. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I didn't phrase it properly, I'm not sure. Dear, dear Elizabeth, I exclaimed when I had read her letter. I will write instantly and relieve them from the anxiety they must feel. I wrote, and this exertion greatly fatigued me, but my convalescence had commenced, and proceeded regularly. In another fortnight I was able to leave my chamber. One of my first duties on my recovery was to introduce Clerval to the several professors of the university. In doing this, I underwent a kind of rough usage, ill befitting the wounds that my mind had sustained. Ever since the fatal night, the end of my labors and the beginning of my misfortunes, I had conceived a violent antipathy even to the name of natural philosophy, when I was otherwise quite restored to health. The sight of a chemical instrument would renew all the agony of my nervous symptoms. Henry saw this, and I removed all my apparatus from my view. He had also changed my apartment, for he perceived that I had acquired a dislike for the room which had previously been my laboratory. But these cares of Clerval were made of no avail when I visited the professors. Mr. Waldman afflicted torture when he praised, with kindness and warmth, the astonishing progress I had made in the sciences. He soon perceived that I disliked the subject, but not guessing the real cause, he attributed my feelings to modesty, and changed the subject from my improvement to the science itself for the desire, as I evidently saw, of driving me out. What could I do? He meant to please, and he tormented me. I felt as if he had placed carefully, one by one, in my view, those instruments which were to be afterwards used in putting me to a slow and cruel death. I writhed under his words, yet dared not exhibit the pain that I felt. Clerval, whose eyes and feelings were almost quick in discerning the sensations of others, declined the subject, alleging, in excuse, his total ignorance, and the conversation took a more general turn. I thanked my friend from my heart, but I did not speak. I saw plainly that he was surprised, but he never attempted to draw my secret from me, and although I loved him with a mixture of affection and reverence that knew no bounds, yet I could never persuade myself to confide in him that events which was so often present to my recollection, but which I feared to detail to another, would only impress more deeply. Let's put Say to sleep again. Mr. Kremp was not equally docile, and in my condition at that time of almost insupportable sensitiveness, his harsh, blunt encomiums I don't know what that means, gave me even more pain than the benevolent approbation of Mr. Waldman. "Done the fellow," cried he. "Why, Mr. Clerval, I assure you he has outstripped us all. Aye, Stare if you please, but it is nevertheless true. A youngster who, but a few years ago, believed in Cornelius Agrippa as firmly as in the gospel, has now set himself at the head of the university, and if he is not soon pulled down, we shall all be out of countenance. Aye, aye, continued he, observing my face expressive of suffering. Mr. Frankenstein is modest, an excellent quality in a young man. Young men should be dividends of themselves, you know, Mr. Chloroform. I was myself when young, but that wears out in a very short time. Mr. Cramp had now commenced an eulogy on himself, which happily turned the conversation from a subject that was so annoying to me. Clerval had never sympathized in my taste for natural science, and his literary pursuits differed wholly from those which had occupied me. He came to the university with the design of making himself complete master of the Oriental languages, and thus he should open a field for the plan of life he had marked out for himself. Resolved to pursue no inglorious career, he turned his eyes towards the east, as affording scope for his spirit of enterprise. The Persian, Arabic, and Sanskrit languages engaged his attention, and I was easily induced to enter on the same studies. Oh my god, studies. Ooh. Idleness had ever been irksome to me, and now that I wished to fly from reflection and hated my former studies, I felt great relief in being the fellow pupil with my friend, and found not only instruction but consolation in the works of the Orientalists. I did not, like him, attempt a critical knowledge of their dialects, for I did not contemplate making any other use of them than temporary amusement. I read merely to understand their meaning, and they well repaid my labors. Their melancholy is soothing, and their joy elevating, to a degree I never experienced in studying the authors of any other country. When you read their writings, life appears to consist in a warm sun and a garden of roses, in the smiles and frowns of a fair enemy, and the fire that consumes your own heart. How different from the manly and heroical poetry of Greece and Rome. Summers passed in these occupations, and my return to Geneva was fixed for the latter end of autumn. But being delayed by several accidents, winter and snow arrived, the roads were deemed impassable, and my journey was delayed, until the ensuing spring. I almost said that word. That was really scary. I almost got cancelled. I felt this delay very bitterly, for I longed to see my native town and my beloved friends. My return had only been delayed so long, from an unwillingness to leave Clerval in a strange place, before he had become acquainted with any of its inhabitants. The winter, however, was spent cheerfully, and although the spring was uncommonly late, when it came its beauty compensated for its dilatoriness. They're just making up words at this point. What that mean? The quality of lateness, tardiness. I see. Noah! Hi, Zoe. Worked remote from home today, so I'm home. Oh, that's great. Edinburgh, Mountain Mama, take me home, Scottish Roads. I posted the fake Thanksgiving on Thursday on Discord. You're living the good life, Soy. Did you have a nice fake Thanksgiving? Well, it takes a metric shit ton of effort, but it is sometimes... It is a lot of work. Oh yeah, how did your turkey go? Is your turkey looking good? I mean, did it look good? What is a fake Thanksgiving? A Swedish get-together with friends where we oven roast the turkey and eat a shit ton of Americans inspired food. Yes, because we do not have Thanksgiving. This is not a thing. What was that, Noah? What was what? What was who? What was what? What was what? Thank you for the recommendation, Crow. Sorry, I just noticed I made a mistake. That's really embarrassing. In the Discord, that is. That attempt of singing Country Roads. Oh, you were saying some weird things, you know? Damn! Look at that turkey! Oh, that's so much sweet potato. Hell yeah! Oh, and look at the pie! Oh, is that cornbread? Is that cornbread? I've always wanted to eat cornbread. Fuck yeah. And what's the sauce? What's the sauce? Oh man, that looks so good. My bad. No, don't say my bad. No, 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 no. Soy, that looks amazing. Where was my invitation? What the fuck? This actually looks so good. It actually looks so amazing. Oh my god. We do like Imperials. At least they're not domestic terrorists. Jesus. Dinner at Soy's place? Honestly, I would love to meet up with you guys at Soy's place and have fake Thanksgiving one day. Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be nice? We have so much leftovers. You both can come. I think by the point I can come, your food will be bad. But was the cornbread hard to make? What's in the cornbread? How did you make it? I've always wanted to eat it, but I'm just like, how? How does one make cornbread? No, we don't like them. We just work together with them for now. Oh. Anyway, let's continue reading. But yes, guys, promotion, please join the book club. Give your book suggestions. We meet up, I think we should meet up like once every 2 months, yes. As a book club. Cornbread is literally 0% bread. It's so easy. No, but what's in it? What's in it? Cornbread is pretty easy, but the American recipes I've seen put too much. Ooh, there's sugar in it. It's sweet. I thought it was gonna be salty, I guess. 0% effort. No, but what's in it? I can bring some cake and some real bread. I love bread, me. Personally, I love bread, yeah. Corn and bread, obviously. What's in it? Yeah, in it. Stay. Noah, did you listen to the new Central C song? The what now? What's that? In it. Yeah, in it. It's flour, maize flour, milk, eggs, and sugar. What is maize flour? I've never heard of that in my life. This is something. It's Friday, innit? Yeah, innit? Ah, maize, corn flour. He's a UK rapper. I'm joking, though. No, I've never heard of him in my life, so I won't listen to it. Sorry. That sounds more like corn cake. Am I right? So true. Wheat flour, corn flour, sugar, eggs, baking soda, butter, milk, salt. Mix it and chuck it in the oven for 25 minutes. Called cornbread. Well, I might make it one day, I might not. We'll see. But that sounds pretty nice. Sounds very American to make cake and call it bread. Yeah, I would say that's pretty American. Indeed. Why did you not make pumpkin cake though? Pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie is like the equivalent of Thanksgiving, no? I usually just chuck it into some canned corn as well because fun. Oh. Yeah, he's decent, but his voice is a bit repetitive. Yeah, it's more like a cake. I definitely think it's a cake. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it looks like a cake as well. I don't know, it's weird. A bunch of weirdos, if you ask me. Pumpkin pie is in the picture. Of course I did. Is it? Where? Am I blind? Well then, what is the cornbread? Oh, they're different things! Okay, so bear with me. I thought the cornbread was the pumpkin pie at the end. Dude, that is so cute though. You put in so much effort. Listen, they're kind of a similar shade of brown, so I thought they were the same thing. My bad. Similar shapes as well. I know. So I thought they were the same thing. How was... How was it? Was it nice? Pumpkin is edible? What do you mean pumpkin is edible? What? Is that a joke? Is it a joke? That must be a joke, right? There is British tea bread. That is cake-like. What is British tea bread? Not even just making up things. What? Everything was so good. And he still needs to make pumpkin pie. I'm so lazy. Like, when it comes to sweets, like, I can make dinner. Dinner is fine. I love making new things. But when it comes to, like, sweet stuff, I don't like doing it. Like, I really need to push myself to do it. Because it's just so much more technical. Like, if you fuck it up, it's not nice. You know? British tea bread. Bread or cake? Bread. Swede stuff. Swede tea loaf? Is that what you mean? Tea loaf? I'm gonna be honest, that looks kind of grim. That looks kind of grim. But then again, I am not a fan of raisins. Kind of just looks like raisin bread, to be honest. So when's the next recipe video? I actually genuinely enjoy the Christmas buns one. Oh, that's so wholesome. Yeah, when's the next one, Soy? What the hell? Did you put it in recipe book? But you did. Perfect. It's the opposite for me. Bacon is easier, though. That's why probably. Well, I mean, I don't know. I just like experimenting with things and not having to read the recipe like super intently. Whereas, yeah, with baking and everything, you have to follow well, you don't have to, I suppose, but you like kind of have to follow at least the overall outline of it, you know? Oh my god, I hate raisins and everything except handful of raisins. I don't mind raisins when I don't notice it, but I feel like raisin bread and shit, obviously it's like very noticeable. And like raisin pastries. The worst feeling in the world is buying a pastry which you thought had chocolate in it and then it's got raisins instead. It's like, why are you lying to me? Fucked up. If you learn a recipe, you can, yeah, but you have to learn it by heart. I don't have time for that. I just want to cook a cake. Never had one with raisins, but I can see how it would fit. I suppose raisins are good on their own, but I put them in food. You ruin the food in the raisins. I like raisins. Good for you. Good for you. I don't know. It's up and down for me, really. I don't hate them. I just prefer not to eat them. I might be able to do another video in December. Hell yeah, let's go! When do you eat your Swedish, like, buns again? Like, when's the time that you usually eat those? I had that with poppy seed cake. I thought it was chocolate. I actually really don't like poppy seed things. I really don't think it tastes nice. When I went to Czech Republic, they love poppy seeds. They are obsessed with it. I swear to God, they put it in fucking everything. Some things were nice, like I had a sandwich with poppy seeds on it, and that was fine. But when it comes to like sweet poppy seed things, it's just not my thing. It's like Nutella, but like not nice. I don't know how to describe it. Apparently, Czech Republic is one of like the biggest producers of poppy seeds. Crazy. I didn't know. No wonder they put it in fucking everything. Yeah, Eastern Europeans love their... They really do. They love poppy seeds. Oh my god. Also, they had like weird like bread dumplings, and I really didn't like that. It looked really questionable, and I was like, I don't know what this is. Jet 2 holidays. That's what I said. Look, look, look. No. No, it looks like bread. It looks like bread, but it's not. It's like wet. It's like a bit wet. It's like a bit like soggy. And usually they've got like this unidentified like spots in it. I can't see it now. But whenever I had it, it had like weird like squares on it. I was like, what is that? What is that? What is that? What is that? And I never found out what it was. And they put it with every dish. I swear to God, you go to a restaurant, you order a steak, they'll put bread dumplings on it. Okay, they add it to everything. They do. They do. And I just don't like it. I don't like it. Yeah, look, it's got like weird spots. Weird spots over here. And I thought it was really scary. I was like, I don't know what I'm eating. What is this? Anyway, no offense. I don't mean to say that your food is like dangerous. It's just a bit like, ooh, you know? Baguette dipped in water, basically. It kind of seems like the way that it tastes is like they took bread, they put it in water, they made it wet, and then they like kneaded it together in the bowl, and then they roll it out and like cut it. Yeah, that's what it tastes like. It tastes like soggy rolled up bread. The Christmas buns are very common on St. Lucia's Day, December 13th, and then increasing until the 25th when it drops off and is forgotten until December. Nice, nice. I might watch your video. I'm off to work. Have a good day. Thank you, Harold. Have a good day at work. You got this. Salute. Boa buns? No, 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 no. Check bread dumplings. Do you like squid dumplings? What are those? Noah's scared of bread. I'm not scared of bread. I would just go and fall asleep a bit. Don't mind me. Okay, have a good eep. I'm gonna make some luce boulard this December. Oh, actually, guys, I need to find a dessert. Oh, is that what they are called? Oh, me and Koopsie are on desserts this Christmas. What do you suggest to make as a dessert? I want to wow them, because last time I made a tiramisu and I had to eat it all by myself. I was really sad. I made loads, to be fair, but I'm like really used to my family that like eats a shit ton. Like, I swear to God, their stomach is a void, just like mine. And Koopsie's families, they eat way less than me. And needless to say, I had to sacrifice myself and eat the whole tiramisu, and I was tired of tiramisu after eating it for 4 days. Yes. But yeah, they don't like coffee flavored things. They don't like white chocolate. So keep that in mind. Yeah, I can see what you mean. I'll still eat it though. I'm gonna make some. Good luck at work. Chocolate roulade. Ooh, cheesecake. I've never made cheesecake before, you know. Ooh, Gotlandish saffron cake. Ooh, cheesecake with berries. Ooh, 4 days, huh? It was actually really nice. What a sacrifice. I know. It was actually really nice. I was like, yes. But the last day was really tough. I was like, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this, Grandpa. Well, that's too damn bad. That was basically what it was like. Gotlandish saffron cake. But tiramisu is Esther. I know, right? Ooh. Ooh. Oh, wait. But saffron is really expensive, though. Like a little pot will cost you a fortune. That looks really nice, though. That looks really nice. But I don't know what it tastes like. I might have to make it at home first. That looks really... It looks so yellow. Really fascinated. Sheesh. What about a coconut thing? I fucking love coconut. Coconut desserts are generally like OP. Suede dumplings are made from suede, flour, and water. Then you simmer them in stew. Duocozonac is a Romanian dessert. Cozonac. Ooh. Oh, I've seen this before. That looks pretty yummy. Is that chocolate? Please tell me it's chocolate. Please tell me it's chocolate. That looks really nice. That looks really nice. Coconut is the shit. Can't lie. Exactly. You could do a bounty cake if you like. But that's not like not fancy enough, you know? I need to wow them. One Christmas, Koopsie's sister made an upside down like pineapple cake thing. And that was like really cool. And I need to wow them now, okay? Obviously I've got like some people to impress right now. I mean, you can also make a lemon tiramisu without coffee. What? What the fuck? Tiramisu without the coffee? That is heresy. I will be struck down if I do that. I can't do that. Zento, are you silly? Are you trying to get me arrested? Cranberry and rosemary upside down cake then? Ew. Ew. Passion fruit lime cheesecake. Oh, this looks amazing though. But upside down fruitcake looks really hard to make. I'm just thinking out loud here. Well, stop it! You should go to Tesco and buy a cake and say you made it. That is so offensive. I would never. I will make it myself. Ah, get out of here, guys. You're useless. No, I think the cheesecake one is really a really good idea, actually. I'd love to make a cheesecake, and I've never done it before. I'll make a really creative one. Yes, I like it. I'll make a fruity one, because I love fruit. You know, what I wanted to make was koffiekoeken, but I tried it at home first, and I miserably failed so bad. Like, they were just solid. They were solid cookies. Because the thing about pastries that is really hard is that you have to fold them multiple times to basically create this poofy things that make it rise in the oven. But because I kneaded it too much, it became a solid brick. But to be fair, you can buy pastry like dough, so maybe I should do that. I don't know. Life is so tough. Russian plucked cake. You guys know so many desserts. I'm really impressed. Cheesecake with coconut biscuit. Ooh, puff pastry? Yeah. Yeah, phyllo dough is difficult to get right. It really is so tough. Oh, that looks a bit weird. Oh. It's exciting. Make sweet rolls? Oh, that'd be pretty cool, actually. Yes. Well, thank you for the suggestions. Ooh, we should finish this. We're almost at chapter 7, guys. God, stop distracting me. Made it safe. That's good. I'm glad you're safe. We are totally reading. We are reading right now. Yes. Don't worry, the pub is... of course, you're in the pub. Oh my goodness. We'll be safe in the pub. Profiterole rolls if you want... Oh! I love profiteroles. Oh, amazing. Butterfied digestive crumbs with vanilla ice cream, banana, and chocolate sauce. Ooh, yummy. Very nice. Well, you've given me a lot to think about, guys. Thank you. I love baking. Why don't you bake and send it to me and I'll say I did it. No, I would never do that. It must come from me. It must be made with love by me. Because that makes it taste so much better. The month of May had already commenced, and I expected the letter daily, which was to fix the date of my departure, when Henry proposed a pedestrian tour in the environs of Ingolstadt, that I might bid personal farewell to the country I had so long inhabited. I acceded with pleasure to this proposition. I was fond of exercise, and Clerval had always been my favorite companion in the ramble of this nature that I had taken among the scenes of my native country. We passed a fortnight in these perambulations. My health and spirits had long been restored, and they gained additional strength from the salubrious air I breathed, the natural incidents of our progress, and the conversation of my friend. Study had before secluded me from the intercourse of my fellow creatures, and rendered me unsocial. But Clerval called forth the better feeling of my heart. He again taught me to love the aspect of nature, and the cheerful faces of children. Excellent friend! How sincerely you did love me, and endeavor to elevate my mind until it was on a level with your own. A selfish pursuit had cramped and narrowed me until your gentleness and affection warmed and opened my senses. I became the same happy creature who, a few years ago, loved and beloved by all, had no sorrow or care. When happy, inanimate nature had the power of bestowing on me the most delightful sensations. A serene sky and verdant fields filled me with ecstasy. The present season was indeed divine. The flowers of spring bloomed in the hedges, while those of the summer were already in bud. I was undisturbed by the thoughts which during the preceding year had pressed upon me, notwithstanding my endeavors to throw them off with an invincible burden. Henry rejoiced in my gaiety, and sincerely sympathized in my feelings. He exerted himself to amuse me, while he expressed the sensations that filled his soul. The resources of his mind on this occasion were truly astonishing. His conversation was full of imagination, and very often, in imitation of the Persian and Arabic writers, he invented tales of wonderful fancy and passion. At other times he repeated my favorite poems, or drew me out into arguments, which he supported with great ingenuity. We returned to our college on a Sunday afternoon. The peasants were dancing, and everyone we met appeared gay and happy. My own spirits were high, and I bounded along with feelings of unbridled joy and hilarity. Perambulate is such a great word. What does it mean, though, say? I just spammed Discord with the stuff I baked. Ew. Did you now? Damn. Damn, you're like a proper cook. Oh my good. Oh, look at that strawberry. Yes. Dude, you make loads. Oh, so you made the Russian thing. I like that. I like that. Very good. Thank you for sharing. So are you like just a baker for as a hobby, or do you do work as a cook, or Chapter 7. On my return, I found the following letter from my father. My dear Victor, you have probably waited impatiently for a letter to fix the date of your return to us, and I was at first tempted to write only a few lines, merely mentioning the day on which I should expect you. But that would be a cruel kindness, and I dare not do it. What would be your surprise, my son, when you expected a happy and glad welcome to behold, on the contrary, tears and wretchedness? And how, Victor, can I relate our misfortune? Absence cannot have rendered you callous to our joys and griefs, and how shall I inflict pain on my long absent son? I wish to prepare you for the woeful news, but I know it is impossible. Even now your eye skims over the page to seek the words which are to convey to you the horrible tidings. William is dead, that sweet child whose smiles delighted and warmed my heart, who was so gentle yet so gay. Sorry. Victor, he is murdered! I will not attempt to console you, but will simply relate the circumstances of this transaction. Last Thursday, I, my niece, and your two brothers went gay. Sorry, it's so funny. It's so funny. It's just, yeah. Anyway, last Thursday, May 7th, I, my niece, and your two brothers went to walk in Plain Pellet. The evening was warm and serene, and we prolonged our walk for farther than usual. Sorry, this is not supposed to be a funny moment, yet so gay. It's so true. It was already dusk before we thought of returning, and then we discovered that William and Ernest, who had gone on before, were not to be found. We accordingly rested on a seat until they should return. Presently Ernest came, and inquired if we had seen his brother. He said that he had been playing with him, that William had run away to hide himself, and that he vainly sought for him, and afterwards waited for a long time, but that he did not return. This account rather alarmed us, and we continued to search for him until night fell, when Elizabeth conjectured that he might have returned to the house. He was not there. We returned again, with torches, for I could not rest when I thought that my sweet boy had lost himself, and was exposed to all the damps and dews of night. Elizabeth also suffered extreme anguish. About 5 in the morning, I discovered my lovely boy, whom the night before I had seen blooming and active in health, stretched on the grass, livid and motionless. The print on the murderer's finger was on his neck. He was conveyed home, and the anguish that was visible in my countenance betrayed the secret to Elizabeth. She was very earnest to see the corpse. At first I attempted to prevent, but she insisted, and entered the room where it lay, hastily examined the neck of the victim, and clasping her hands exclaimed, "Oh God! I have murdered my darling child!" Wait, what? She murdered him. She fainted and was restored with extreme difficulty. When she again lived, it was only to weep and sigh. She told me that that same evening William had teased her to let him wear a very valuable miniature that she possessed of your mother. This picture is gone, and was doubtless the temptation which urged the murderer to the deed. We have no trace of him at present, although our exertions to discover him are unremitted. But they will not restore my beloved William. Come, dearest Victor, you alone can console Elizabeth. She weeps continually, and accuses herself unjustly as the cause of his death. Her words pierce my heart. We are all unhappy, but will not that be an additional motive for you, my son, to return and be our comforter? Your dear mother, alas, Victor, I now say, thank God she did not live to witness the cruel, miserable death of her youngest darling. Come, Victor, not brooding thoughts of vengeance against the assassin, but feelings of peace and gentleness that will heal, instead of festering the wounds of our minds. Enter the house of mourning, my friend, but with kindness and affection for those who love you, and not with hatred for your enemies. Your affectionate and afflicted father, Alphonse Frankenstein. I just like baking and cooking as a hobby. I can tell we made it. It looks yummy. Yes, it does. It looks amazing. It really does. Ooh, you made some bread as well. Soy will like that. Soy loves making bread. Ooh, moelleux. I fucking love moelleux. Is amazing. Clerval, who had watched my countenance as I read this letter, was surprised to observe the despair that succeeded the joy I had first expressed on receiving news from my friends. I threw the letter on the table and covered my face with my hands. "My dear Frankenstein," exclaimed Henry, when he perceived me weep with bitterness, "are you always to be unhappy, my dear friend? What has happened?" I motioned him to take up the letter, while I walked up and down the room in the extremest agitation. Tears also gushed from the eyes of Clerval as he read the account of my misfortune. "I can offer you no consolation, my friend," said he. "Your disaster is irreparable. What do you intend to do?" "To go instantly to Geneva. Come with me, Henry, to order the horses." During our walk, Clerval endeavored to say a few words of consolation. He could only express his heartfelt sympathy. "Poor William," said he, "dear lovely child, he now sleeps with his angel mother, who that had seen him bright and joyous in his young beauty, but must weep over his untimely loss. To die so miserably, to feel the murderer's grasp, How much more a murder that could destroy radiant innocence? Poor little fellow, one only consolation have we. His friends mourn and weep, but he is at rest. The pang is over. His sufferings are at an end forever. A sod covers his gentle form, and he knows no pain. He can no longer be a subject for pity. We must preserve that for his miserable survivors. Clerval spoke thus as we hurried through the streets. The words impressed themselves on my mind, and I remembered them afterwards in solitude. But now, as soon as the horses arrived, I hurried into cabriolet and bade farewell to my friend. My journey was very melancholy. At first I wished to hurry on, for I longed to console and sympathize with my loved and sorrowing friends. But when I drew near my native town, I slackened my progress. I could hardly sustain the multitude of feelings that crowded in my mind. I passed through scenes familiar to my youth, but which I had not seen for nearly 6 years. How altered everything might be during that time! One sudden and desolating change had taken place, but 1,000 little circumstances might have by degree worked other alterations, which, although they were done more tranquilly, might not be the less decisive. Fear overcame me. I dared not advance, dreading 1,000 nameless evils that made me tremble, although I was unable to define them. I remained 2 days at Lausanne. In this painful state of mind, I contemplated the lake. The waters were placid, all around was calm, and the snowy mountains, the palaces of nature, were not changed. By degrees, the calm and heavenly scene restored me, and I continued my journey towards Geneva. The road ran by the side of the lake, which became narrower as I approached my native town. I discovered more distinctly the black sides of Jura and the bright summit of Mont Blanc. I wept like a child. Dear mountains, my only beautiful lake, how do you welcome your wanderer? Your summits are clear, the sky and lake are blue and placid. Is this to prognosticate peace or to mock at my unhappiness? I fear, my friend, that I shall render myself tedious by dwelling on these preliminary circumstances, but they were days of comparative happiness, and I think of them with pleasure. My country, my beloved country, who but a native can tell the delight I took in again beholding thy streams, thy mountains, and more than all, thy lovely lake. Yet, as I drew nearer home, grief and fear again overcame me. Night also closed around, and when I could hardly see the dark mountains, I felt still more gloomily. The picture appeared a vast and dim scene of evil, and I foresaw obscurely that I was destined to become the most wretched of human beings. Alas! I prophesied truly, and failed only in one single circumstance, that in all the misery I imagined and dreaded, I did not conceive the 100th part of the anguish I was destined to endure. It was completely dark when I arrived in the environs of Geneva. The gates of the town were already shut, and I was obliged to pass the night at Secheron, a village at the distance of half a league from the city. The sky was serene, and as I was unable to rest, I resolved to visit the spot where my poor William had been murdered. As I could not pass through the town, I was obliged to cross the lake in a boat to arrive at Plain Palace. During this short voyage, I saw the lightning playing on the summit of Mont Blanc in the most beautiful figures. The storm appeared to approach rapidly, and on landing, I ascended a low hill that I might observe its progress. It advanced, the heavens were clouded, and I soon felt the rain coming slowly in large drops, but its violence quickly increased. I am lost. This is my issue with reading. Keep track of the story. I can maintain it. information is just picking it up in the first place. Well, obviously you haven't like caught everything that I've been reading, so that makes it hard to follow. But basically, the story is about Victor Frankenstein. He loves science basically, and he wanted to challenge death. So he tried to reanimate a corpse, and he succeeded, and that's the thing he's scared of right now, because it kind of disappeared. And at the moment, he's going back to his family town because his little brother died. He was murdered, and that's where we're going right now. Yeah, that's a short version of things. We've also got Elizabeth, who is his cousin, and he's in love with her, basically. So we're going to encounter her as well. But yeah, I think with older books, it is very normal to get lost. Something I saw people talk about, the way to keep track of it is to kind of, if you're lost, reread what you're reading to kind of understand a bit better. Maybe write down the main things sometimes, that helps as well. I think it's also just about practice. Like, the more you read older books, the better you get. But obviously, you don't have to read old books. You know, this is just an old book, so it's a bit harder to get through, I suppose. Yeah. I quitted my seat and walked on, although the darkness and storm increased every minute, and the thunder burst with a terrific crash over my head. It was echoed from Salève, the Juras, and the Alps of Savoy. Vivid flashes of lightning dazzled my eyes, illuminating the lake, making it appear like a vast sheet of fire. Then for an instant everything seemed of a pitchy darkness, until the eye recovered itself in a preceding flash. The storm, as is often the case in Switzerland, appeared at once in various parts of the heavens. The most violent storm hung exactly north of the town, over the part of the lake which lies between the promontory of Bellerive and the village of Coppet. Another storm enlightened Jura with faint flashes, and another darkened and sometimes disclosed the mole, a peaked mountain to the east of the lake. While I watched the tempest, so beautiful yet terrific, I wandered on with a hasty step. This noble war in the sky elevated my spirits. I clasped my hands and exclaimed aloud, "William, dear angel, this is thy funeral, this thy dirge." As I said these words, I perceived in the gloom a figure which stole from behind a clump of trees near me. I stood fixed, gazing intently. I could not be mistaken. A flash of lightning illuminated the object, and discovered its shape plainly to me. Its gigantic stature, and the deformity of its aspect, more hideous than belongs to humanity, instantly informed me that it was the wretch, the filthy Damon to whom I had given life. What did he there? How could he be? I shuddered at the conception. The murderer of my brother? No sooner did that idea cross my imagination than I became convinced of its truth. My teeth clattered, and I was forced to lean against a tree for support. The figure passed me quickly, and I lost it in the gloom. Nothing in human shape could have destroyed the fair child. He was the murderer. He could not doubt it. The mere presence of the idea of an irresistible proof of the fact. I thought of pursuing the devil, but it would have been in vain, for another flash discovered him to be hanging among the rocks of the nearly perpendicular ascent of Mont Salève, a hill that bound Plaine Palais on the south. He soon reached the summit and disappeared. I remained motionless. The thunder ceased, but the rain still continued, and the scene was enveloped in an impenetrable darkness. I revolved in my mind the events which I had until now sought to forget, the whole train of my progress toward the creation, the appearance of the works of my own hands at my bedside, its departure. 2 years had now nearly elapsed since the night on which he was first received life. And was this his first crime? Alas! I had turned loose into the world a depraved wretch, whose delight was in carnage and misery. Had he not murdered my brother? Or before. I wonder if you can order plants online. I will have to look into this. I've never done that before. I've ordered a flower bouquet before, but never a plant. I'm quite intrigued. How would you send that? No one can conceive the anguish I suffered during the remainder of the night, which I spent, cold and wet, in the open air, but I did not feel the inconvenience of the weather. My imagination was busy in scenes of evil and despair. I considered the being whom I had cast among mankind, and endowed with the will and power to effect purposes of horror, such as the deed which he had now done, nearly in the light of my own vampire, my own spirit, let loose from the grave, and forced to destroy all that was dear to me. Day dawned, and I directed my steps towards the town. The gates were open, and I hastened to my father's house. My first thought was to discover what I knew of the murderer, and cause instant pursuit to be made. But I paused when I reflected on the story that I had to tell. A being who I myself had formed and endued with life had met me at midnight among the precipices of an inaccessible mountain. I gotta go take my doggo out for a How's your doggo? Please send me an update picture of them now. They must have grown so much. I can't remember. I've already read that. But yeah, please send me a picture. I remember you sending me a picture when they were a puppy. Oh, how old are they now? Oh, I want a pet. I want a cat. I want a cat so bad, man. I remembered also the nervous fever. He's alright, that's good. I remembered also the nervous fever with which I had been seized just at the time that I dated my creation, and which would give an air of delirium to a tale otherwise so utterly improbable. I well knew that if any other had communicated such a relation to me, I should have looked upon it as the ravings of insanity. Besides, the strange nature of the animal would elude all pursuit, even if I were so far credited as to persuade my relatives to commence it. And then of what use would be pursuit? Who could arrest a creature capable of scaling the overhanging sides of Mont Salève? These reflections determined me, and I resolved to remain silent. He's 5 to 6 months right now, if not mistaken. Oh, what a cutie. Good for him. Good for him. Definitely send pictures. It was about 5 in the morning when I entered my father's house. I told the servants not to disturb the family and went into the library to attend their usual hour of rising. 6 years had elapsed, passed in a dream, but for one indelible trace, and I stood in the same place where I had last embraced my father before my departure for Ingolstadt. Beloved and venerable parent, he still remained to me. I gazed on the picture of my mother, which stood over the mantelpiece. It was a historical subject. What? Sorry, that was my 11 p.m. go to bed alarm. Yes, I have a bedtime alarm. Don't laugh at me. It was a historical subject painted at my father's desire and represented Caroline Beaufort in an agony of despair, kneeling by the coffin of her dead father. Her garb was rustic and her cheek pale, but there was an air of dignity and beauty that hardly permitted the sentiment of pity. Below this picture was a miniature of William, and my tears flowed when I looked upon it. While I was thus engaged, Ernest entered. He had heard me arrive and hastened to welcome me. "Welcome, my dearest Victor," said he. Ah, I wish you had come 3 months ago, and then you would have found us all joyous and delighted. You come to us now to share a misery which nothing can elevate. Yet your presence will, I hope, revive our father, who seems sinking under his misfortune, and your persuasions will induce poor Elizabeth to cease her vain and tormenting self-accusations. Poor William, he was our darling and our pride. Boobs, oh goodness. I will indeed say boobs. Tears, unrestrained, fell from... This is such a serious moment, Tom! Tears, unrestrained, fell from my brother's eyes, boobs. A sense of mortal agony crept over my frame, boobs. Before, I had only imagined the wretchedness of my desolated home. The reality came on me as a new and a not less terrible disaster, boobs. I tried to calm Ernest. I inquired more minutely concerning my father, and here I named my cousin, boobs. That's why I did it, you evil little man. She most of all, said Ernest, requires consolation. She accused herself of having caused the death of my brother, and that made her very wretched, boobs. But since the murderer has been discovered, boobs. The murderer discovered? Good God, how can that be? Who could attempt to pursue him? It is impossible. One might as well try to overtake the winds or confine a mountain stream with a straw, boobs. I saw him too. He was free last night, boobs. I do not know what you mean, replied my mother, in accents of wonder. But to us, the discovery we have made completes our misery, boobs. No one would believe it at first, and even now Elizabeth will not be convinced, notwithstanding all evidence, boobs. Indeed, who would credit that Justine Moritz, who is so amiable and fond of all the family, could suddenly become so capable of so frightful, so appalling a crime, boobs? Justine Moritz? Poor girl. Is she the accused, boobs? But it is wrongfully. Everyone knows that. No one believes it. Surely, Ernest, boobs. Okay, I will chill. No, don't worry. It was a joke. Don't worry. No one did at first, but several circumstances came out that have almost forced conviction upon us, boobs, and our own behavior has been so confused as to add to the evidence of facts await that, boobs, I fear, leaves no hope for doubt, boobs. But she will be tried today, and you will then hear all, boobs. Oh, look at it. So cute. Oh, what a beautiful dog. Thank you. Very cute. He then related that the morning on which the murder of poor William had been discovered, Justine had been taken ill, boobs, and confined to her bed for several days, boobs. During this interval, one of the servants, happening to examine the apparel she had worn on the night of the murder, had discovered in her pocket the picture of my mother, which had been judged to be the temptation of the murderer, boobs. The servant instantly showed it to one of the others, who, without saying a word to any of the family, went to a magistrate, and upon their deposition, Justine was apprehended, boobs. On being charged with the fact, the poor girl confirmed the suspicion in a great measure by her extreme confusion of manner, boobs. This was a strange tale, but it did not shake my faith, and I replied earnestly, boobs, you are all mistaken. I know the murderer. Justine, poor good Justine, is innocent, boobs. At that instant, my father entered, boobs. I saw unhappiness deeply impressed on his countenance, but he endeavored to welcome me cheerfully, and after we had exchanged our mournful greeting, would have introduced some other topic than that of our disaster, had not Ernest exclaimed, "Good God, Papa! Victor says that he knows who was the murderer of poor William, boobs." "We do also," replied my father. "For indeed I had rather have been forever ignorant than have discovered so much depravity and ingratitude in one I valued so highly, boobs." "My dear father, you are mistaken." Justine is innocent, boobs. I find it funny how you change pitch when you say boobs, not sure why. You mean like because I say it lower? I'm trying to make it less obvious. If she is, God forbid that she should suffer as guilty, boobs, she is to be tried today, and I sincerely hope, that she will be acquitted, boobs. This speech calms me, boobs. I was firmly convinced in my own mind that Justine, and indeed every human being, was guiltless of this murder, boobs. I had no fear, therefore, that any circumstantial evidence could be brought forward strong enough to convict her. Boobs, my tale was not one to announce publicly. Its astounding horror would be looked upon as madness by the vulgar, boobs. Did any one indeed exist except I, the Creator, who would believe unless his senses convinced him in the existence of the living monument of presumption and rash ignorance which I had let loose upon the world, boobs? What a pervert story. It's full of booba. So real, I know, right? And incest, boobs. We were soon joined by Elizabeth, boobs. Time had altered her since I had last beheld her. It had endowed her with loveliness surpassing the beauty of her childish years, boobs. There was the same candor, the same vivacity, but it was allied to an expression more full of sensibility and intellect, boobs. She welcomed me with the greatest affection, boobs. Your arrival, my dear cousin, said she, fills me with hope, boobs. You perhaps will find some means to justify my poor guiltless Justine, boobs. Alas, who is safe? If she be convicted of crime, boobs, I rely on her innocence, as certainly as I do upon my own, boobs. Our misfortune is doubly hard to us. We have not only lost that lovely, darling boy, but this poor girl, who I sincerely love, is to be torn away by even a worse fate, boobs. If she is condemned, I never shall know joy more, but she will not. I am sure she will not. And then I shall be happy again, even after the sad death of my little William, boobs. Oh, almost there. She is innocent, my Elizabeth, said I, and that shall be proved. Fear nothing, but let your spirits be cheered by the assurance of her acquittal, boobs. How kind and generous you are. Every one else believes in her guilt, and that made me wretched, for I knew that it was impossible, and to see every one else prejudiced in so deadly a manner rendered me hopeless and despairing, boobs. She wept, boobs. Dearest niece, said my father, dry your tears, boobs. If she is as you believe innocent, rely on the justice of our laws and the activity with which I shall prevent the slightest shadow of partiality, boobs. Oh, a very exciting story indeed. Thank you everyone for joining. I think this will conclude the reading stream for today. Boobs. Thank you so much for joining. I'm glad we got so much out of the way. I thought I was going to be too tired to stream, but it turns out I was very yappy today. Yes, very good. Tomorrow is a very exciting stream indeed. If you cannot join, please do watch the VOD. I'm being interviewed like I'm a celebrity. By the lovely Natsu. If you can join, that'd be really lovely. If you cannot, that's fine. Thank you for streaming. Very cozy. I'm glad you find it cozy. Yay!